It's Friday. Woo! I'm coming on live in my group on Facebook called Intuitive Angel Messages, and I like to go live about once or twice a week and chat with all of you and channel and bring through messages and just be able to channel spirit. Today I'm going to be channeling my spirit guide, Adrian, and we're going to be talking about what's coming up in the future on Earth. And the reason why I'm bringing this to the forefront is because this is a conversation that I'm having with spirit from time to time. And, you know, you see a lot of stuff online, and you really have to see what resonates with you and what does not resonate with you. That's really important. You know, just because someone's saying something or channeling something, or, you know, even if what you hear from me today doesn't resonate with you and your intuition, your gut feeling tells you otherwise, I would say follow it, because that's the most important thing in life to do, is follow your gut instincts, follow your internal guidance system. And but what mine is saying, and also what is in alignment with what my gut feeling is telling me, as well as hearing what I hear from spirit, is that there's going to be a lot of changes happening on planet Earth. And we might have, well, we could say there's been a lot of changes thus far, but if we went and we were to compare what has transpired thus far on Earth, sometimes I want to talk really fast. I wish I could almost do telepathy with you guys, because my mouth doesn't move fast enough. And I think that this is because I've been communicating with spirit for so long telepathically that they communicate so fast. I wish I could communicate that fast, but my mouth doesn't move that fast and my brain doesn't move that fast. Hence why I have to ask them to slow it down sometimes. But there will be more changes coming on the planet in comparison to what has been, which makes sense because the energy is picking up and it's speeding up, and there's a lot of light frequency permeating each of us and the planet herself. So that does make a lot of sense that there will be more changes coming, and we won't look at all of it and say, oh, this is just wonderful and golden and dandy. No, we're not going to. We're probably not going to see it that way. However, initially we may not see it that way, and then we may choose to redirect our attention, our focus elsewhere, or choose to see it differently. Or, even better yet, you'll choose to connect in with your spiritual team and have a powwow with them so that they can give you a broader perspective. And then you'll see it in a different light. Hence why you're here with me right now, because you'd like to see and hear what kind of information is coming through with my team, my powwow. Isn't that right? So that's the beautiful thing about the path that I'm on, is that not only do I get to share with you what information comes through with my powwow, but I actually get to share with each of you how to do it yourselves. How to tune into your own intuition, how to connect in with your angel cards, how to connect in with your spiritual team. That's the beautiful thing about it. That's the best part of my path. So that being said, hi Karen. That being said, you guys know that the Mediumship 102 is coming up on November 15th until the 22nd. And if you feel like signing up, there are only 12 spots left, and I can't wait to bring to the forefront the new material that's coming out. And there's going to be way more lives, way more, just way more. It's action-packed for a week, so I can't wait. If you guys are interested, I've put the link above this video. I'll also put it below this video, and you can also go to KristinDaviesMedium.com. All right. Here we go. So I asked, who's going to take this one today? And my spirit guide, Adrian, stepped right in. So I haven't spoken with him. You know, like I talk to my guardian angel all the time. But my spirit guide, I don't really talk to her as much. I don't know. My spirit guide, he just kind of like comes in when he wants, and I chat with him once in a while. Whereas some other people tell me they speak with their spirit guides all the time. I guess it's all like what we need, right? So obviously I'm connecting in with my guardian angel a little bit more, and I must need her versus my spirit guide. Why is that, Adrian? Why is that? Other people are like, yeah, mine comes through as a Native American, or mine comes through as such and such. And I'm like, cool. Mine comes through as a male Caucasian. Like, but I'm sure we've had some other experiences that would be vastly different. He just hasn't showed it to me yet. All right, Adrian, I'll let you take the lead now, and let's see what direction we're going to move in. He's pretending like he's French, and he's got a little mustache and his eyewear and his little hat, and he's speaking in French, saying hello to everybody in French. Oh, God. Now he's like clearing his throat, and then he's becoming like really down to earth, kind of like how I am. I'm with my pitch and tone, but more masculine. And he's saying, but seriously, thank you for having me, everyone. He loves to make me laugh. That's like the best, like he just loves that. He loves to make me laugh. And I love wee wee, eh, Muriel? Wee wee. And, wee wee means two different things, doesn't it? What language we're talking about. But he just loves to make me laugh, I think, because we've had so many incarnations together, and, we frolicked a bit, in those incarnations, even though I don't remember all of them. And so he just likes to make me laugh. He likes to have fun with me. And I think he likes to have fun with me in the incarnations and on the other side. So, first question is, why is it that I only talk with you once in a while versus Agnes I talk with all the time, my guardian angel? He says because that's what I need at this time. And I don't need him all the time. He says, he's teasing me like, you've had enough of me with all these incarnations we've had, like, like as if like I'm a kind of like a clinging or something. So what are you doing on the other side, right? Like, you want to list off a few things? I know we could probably list off like 25, 50, 100 things, because they're omnipresent, right? Like they're doing it. He's here with me, and he's probably doing God knows what, how many other things all at once. He says, most of my attention is focused right here with you right now, but not all of it. So he wants me to know that most of his energy is focused here right now, my spirit guide. Cool. So in the spirit world, he's doing a lot of learning and growth. He's learning new ways of doing things to help assist others, not just me, but assisting others, he says. Oh, you got your hands full. He says that with me, it's more lighthearted and easygoing because he knows that I got this handled on earth, because I've done it so many times before. And he knows that I'll turn to Agnes for help. So he just kind of rolls up. He rolls up as if he's in his car and just checks up on me from time to time. Whereas other spirit guides will be more hands-on with individuals that need them more often. For example, if you haven't had as many incarnations on Earth, if your incarnation on Earth is difficult, hard, you're going through a hard patch, a hard time, and then they'll step forward more. And he wants to talk, he's really highlighting on going through a hard patch or a specific period of time that's difficult. You can make these shorter and more far and few between if you wish. Just ask your spiritual team to help you do that so that you're not dragging it on and woe is me and complaining and draining your energy, draining others' energy, and dragging it on longer than it needs to. Yep. Been there. Done that. I think we all have. We just don't need to do it. Okay? So you can say, I want you to help me so that I don't have that go on as often maybe as it has been. And let's make this a shorter experience in the difficult moments. And the other thing he wants to talk about is just because others are having a hard time on planet Earth doesn't mean you need to dip down and drop your frequency and drag yourself through the mud with them for lengthy periods of time. He says he understands that we may be empathic or have empathy for them and listen and be caring and thoughtful, but then we also need to watch and manage our own vibrational frequencies and not drag it out for lengthy periods of time. This is why he doesn't recommend watching the news on a regular basis, because it drops your frequency. If there were broadcasts that were highlighting the many high vibrational things that are transpiring on the planet that all of us see here in the spirit world, if we had a channel like that, he would highly recommend watching that, because it would lift and raise your vibrational frequency and help you. And he's talking about us smiling and being happy. Isn't that cool? That's so cool. But that's what they see in the spirit world. A lot of good things going on in the spirit world. So remember, when they're watching us, they're seeing the good stuff, but it's not being broadcast, right? It's not being talked about. So we have to be the ones to focus in on it and then milk it real good, right? All the good in your life, all the good that's happening on the planet, and there is a lot of good happening on the planet. It's just not being talked about or broadcast online or, well, maybe on YouTube channels. All right. All right. So he's pretending as if he's like cracking his knuckles and like getting ready to like relay what's to come in the future. All right. So in do you want to give us, since we are operating pretend-wise in linear time, do you want to give it to us like in months and years? All right. He says if that's the way we want to see it. Okay. So in the years to come, in the next 10 years, it's really in the next 5 years, but then a bit over the next 5 years after that, a total of 10, but really emphasizing on the next 5. It's going to be like this. Okay, it's going to be a bit bumpy. He says the beautiful thing about bumpy paths is that when you know that and you're aware of them coming and you're aware of what is transpiring around you, and then you know what to do about it, which is go within, make sure you have enough rest and relaxation, and manage your own vibrational frequencies so that you don't get rocked on the roller coaster ride as hard as others will. Great. Okay. Okay. Now, in the next 5 years after those first 5 years, things will be smoothing out and becoming easier, but much has changed. Pre-COVID, there were already changes transpiring on the planet. But as we move to the other side of this, around about this timeline, there has been much growth, much has changed individually and collectively. But he's also talking about, other than COVID, there will be other things transpiring on the planet that will be rocking things. And it's meant to, in order for us to see with clarity what is truly going on. So unveiling of information and things, events transpiring on the planet, people. He says, you know, Kristin, if everybody communicated this way telepathically, there would be very few things to hide here on Earth, because you wouldn't be able to. I agree. And in truth, that's the first thing that I realized when I started communicating with my guardian angels and my spirit guides. I'm like, wow, they like really know everything. Like, there's no hiding, but there's no need to hide either in the spirit world, right? So, at least not where they are, where it's high vibrational. Okay. Okay, so he wants to talk about past that point. And we're talking about what pretend time in linear? Hundreds of years down the road. Okay, there's going to be some drastic changes with the environment on the Earth. But collectively, as a whole, there's going to be a great amount of growth and changes. One of the many changes that will be taking place on Earth is the incoming high vibrational souls that will be permeating the planet through birth. And each of these souls are going to be vastly different than what we see before us now. And you could look at this like, well, obviously we all know we come here for a certain period of time and then we're exiting, right? So he's talking about in hundreds of years down the road, there will be just an overhaul of different souls, different vibrational frequency coming from these souls. So an overhaul of the entire planet. The entire planet is going to have a complete changeover of energy by way of these new souls coming in. You call this like a new breed. If you want to call it that, he says. Okay. But gradually, even before this complete turnover, there will be many changes taking place that will be best for the planet herself and the collective here. And so changes for the environment, environmental changes, is going to be like a hustle and a rush to make certain changes that are necessary. Right now, we're still the people in charge of implementing certain things, and even ourselves, he says, are still kind of dragging our feet. But also, he recognizes that, you know, we may not have like $30,000 to $50,000 to go spend on an electric car just out of our hat, you know. So he recognizes that as well. But he would like each of us to make a list and write down what we do want in our lives, and let our spiritual team read that list in order to help bring it forth into our realities. Because anything's possible, and we are the manifestors of our realities. So write that down on a list so that your team can read it, and then keep adding to the list in the subsequent months ahead. So he really wants you to do that. Okay. And so, okay. He just wants you to know that anything is possible. There's going to be more solar panels on rooftops and cars and other means of allowing cars to function without gasoline, as much oil or any oil, okay? Because obviously there's hybrids taking place with vehicles, and then people will move into electric cars, etc. But it's not even that. It's going to be transpiring into even more than that. Are there going to be further advancements with electric cars to make them even better? I threw one at him, and now he's getting the information, so it goes really quiet. He says there will be many changes, progressing forward, always progressing forward. He says what's most important are the changes that we make within ourselves and our own vibrational frequencies, honing in on what you are in alignment with and what you are not. And that goes with our career paths, the people that we're spending a lot of time with, the activities that we're doing. And he's showing people like partying and drinking or doing drugs. And a lot of that is going to change in the near future. So it's just going to be like our intuition is going to ramp up. So your soul is going to speak up and have more of a voiced opinion through your body energetically, is what I'm getting. So you're going to get a real bad feeling when you're doing the same thing that you've always done, maybe, but you're just not going to feel comfortable while doing it. Does that make sense? You may feel nausea or tightness in your chest, a little bit hard to breathe. That will be spirit directly letting you know that this is not best for you any longer. And that also transpires with the foods that you're eating. Okay. How much sleep and rest you're getting. How much you do for others versus taking more time for yourself. Huh. Fascinating. All right. That's pretty cool. Okay. So, okay. He just cracks me up. All right. Alrighty. What new healing technologies will emerge within the next 10 years? He's talking about us learning how to heal ourselves. So rather than going outside of ourselves, many will learn how to do it ourselves for ourselves. Okay. He says, in truth, we can do this right now. It's just that many of us first of all, we are dropping in our vibrational frequency. And when we're talking about frequencies to heal our vessels, this is a very high vibrational frequency. And in order to connect in with it, to take it in fully, our own vibrational frequencies must rise, individually and collectively. But he says that will come in time. That's going to come in time. Okay, if we want to believe in time. Any other healing technologies we want to talk about in the next 10 years is about you going within and learning how to do it for yourself. Okay, and what type of healing modalities would you recommend the most right now? Like right now on Earth, right now. Angelic Reiki healing. Angelic Reiki healing. Every time I ask, it's angelic Reiki healing right now. And I've asked Archangel Michael, and now I'm asking my spirit guide Adrian, and it's the same memo, same message. Okay. He also likes healing touch and UC Reiki, Rahani Reiki, all the forms of Reiki he likes. But angelic Reiki healing brings in, it ushers in a much higher vibrational frequency, and there's like more energies that come forth when doing this form of healing for oneself or if you go to someone who can do it for you long distance, right? Or in person. So he's talking about just like there's more energies that get ushered in to work on you during those sessions. And what I'm really seeing, I know that there are ascended masters, there's archangels that step forward, there are many. But I also see these healing angels in white, and there are several of them. And once you have one angelic Reiki healing, they come back and work on you several times afterwards. And even I've called them in to help work on me even after I've had an angelic Reiki healing, and they come in and they'll work on me. Do they come and work on anybody like that? Not for anyone. He's talking about me personally making a request and then they have come in. But for someone else, it might be a different scenario. He's talking about some of us have health issues that we're learning and growing from, so they may not be fully healed because they are introduced and agreed upon before coming to Earth and incarnating here in order to learn and grow from. He's going to use my health issue as an example. You always have to put me on the spot. So with my health issue, the Spirit said this many times, and Adrian's saying it right now, that, you know, if I didn't have colitis, and then I've had several surgeries, but, you know, the autoimmune response is still there. It keeps me in check. It keeps my diet in check, and it keeps me from touching certain things that are harmful for my body. Although I feel like I've changed significantly since then. I don't feel drawn towards alcohol. I don't feel drawn towards actually any drugs, to be honest. I used to like guzzle Coca-Cola and like soda pop. I don't touch any of that anymore. Like, it's just not in alignment with me. However, the way that Spirit has felt is that by having these health issues, it's what they call kept me in check to make sure that I treat my body lovingly and kindly, and I've introduced a better way of my diet, removal of things that have been harmful for my diet. They're also talking about my body is a little bit more sensitive than somebody else's body. So somebody else, they can go and abuse their body for the entire duration of their lifetime. But with myself, for example, my body is more sensitive for a reason. Just like some people are more empathic than other people, right? So I was actually saying that to a friend of mine the other day. I was saying, you know, like my high school friends, I came out of high school and then I started working at a bakery, and I keep in touch with these people that I worked with at this grocery store because they were my close friends, and they're still drinking and they're still doing their thing, and they don't have any health issues like I have. Like, they have none of it. But when we look at building that depth, okay, that's what suffering does. It builds that depth in you. And I wouldn't take that back for the world. I wouldn't take that back for the world, because I look at the friendships that I have from that time, and they're much more on the surface, and they're still doing the same things that I was doing back when I was 18. So I like to think that I'm here, me, incarnating on Earth to grow through contrast and building that depth, right? And that's where a lot of my happiness stems from that depth. Instead of being on the surface and being more unconscious and not sure about things and just kind of floating through life, there's a difference. And I'm not saying one is better than the other, because they're both purposeful. I've lived both. I've been through both. All I'm saying is that my health issues have helped to build that depth, and I am forever eternally grateful for that. Ooh, so there's a lot of lack of, help in stores. I know, I try to call stores, nobody even picks up the phone. No one. It doesn't matter. I'll call a restaurant or a store or wherever, and even on their voicemail, they're saying, we're experiencing like no one's going to pick up the call. So if you want to come in person, that's the only way I'm going to get someone, because nobody's picking up the phone because they don't have enough staff. Will that be balancing back? Spirit likes it that there are, so this is what Spirit likes about it. People are questioning what they want for themselves, and they're wanting they want better things for themselves. So they're not going back to the same old that doesn't pay or honor their time and energy appropriately, and or the way that they're treated, or just the environment in which they were working in, and the work and service that they were provided doesn't serve their new frequency any longer. So he's actually quite happy about people leaving these positions that are no longer serving them, because until things improve, and he's seeing this as being like the wages increasing, the environment improving, more incentives, or incentivizing, that there will continue to be a shortage. Even if that all improves, he says that we're still going to have a shortage for a while, but it's going to take a while for that wheel to turn. Okay. All right. Anybody else with any questions? But ultimately, it's all meant to happen in order for people to really go within and think about doing things differently, to bring back more time freedom, financial freedom, happiness, joy, balancing of their energy. And Spirit likes this. Through difficulties comes growth, and you can't get to the other side until you go through it. And the going through it, it can be difficult, but once you get to the other side, you will look back and say that these improvements were greatly necessary and beneficial, and you're much happier on the other side. He says Kristin knows this all too well. She knows that when things get difficult or hard, that she can see it in a multitude of different ways, but the way in which she majority sees it is by way of, okay, what is this teaching me? Where is the growth? There will be advancement with this. I will learn and grow from this, and I will be better for it on the other side. For these changes will bring upon great significant happiness and joy. I'll feel better. Okay. Woo! There you go, Muriel. You got a raise out of it. See? Like, things have to change. They have to change. And it's interesting because if you look at, inflation, right? Everything goes up in price, right? Gas does, groceries do, taxes do. Our taxes went up. They went up 2%. And I know in the UK he promised, and then that went up too. So everything's got to go up. And during COVID times, I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but the prices of many things have gone up. So even if we didn't have COVID, inflation is happening. So, there has to be more incentives, and the cost of things going up has to be, people can't survive on the same wages. They just can't. They just can't, right? And I've seen people here where I live. They do cut back. They cook at home. They drive only when they need to. Where I live, no one can afford to purchase a house, not unless you got an average of probably 1.2 mil, which most people don't have. But, you know, if you want a condo, that's anywhere from 500 to $1 million. And I think what I'm saying is, you know, like my aunt said to me one day, she goes, what are the bare basic things that you need in life? And I thought, okay, well, food and shelter. And she's like, that's right. So bare minimum, food and shelter. And she's like, everything on top of that, you can make work, you know, when you can. But you being happy and you have food and shelter, those are the bare minimums. And I'm like, yeah, okay. And gas in your car, of course. But if you don't honor someone's time and energy and you don't pay them enough to survive, then this is what will happen. One thing I've really noticed where I live, we used to have a lot of individuals with a lot of dreads, just kind of like, you know, enjoying life. Well, I don't know if you want to call them hippies. I think, or you know, not hippies, but just going by the basics in life, okay? Like going maybe to a part-time job, renting a room out of a house for $300 or $400, and riding around on a bike. Okay, they don't care for the extras. Either they can't afford it or they don't care and they can't afford it. But either way, they were enjoying life, having a good time. And I used to see them everywhere here. But in the last 5 to 8 years, they're no longer around anymore. And it's kind of disappointing because I suppose in a sense, like, unless you have the money to support yourself, at least where I'm living, then you just won't see certain people anymore because they can't afford the rent for a room going up to $850, $900, right? Or $1,200 or whatever it is. And that's just for a bedroom. That's not even for your own apartment. That's just, so, you know, maybe they've just relocated to smaller towns or more on the outskirts of town. But things will change. And what do you want to say about that? He's talking about it being a progression in life. And some of these changes are good because it is making people think more seriously about what they want for themselves, and other times maybe it's not as good because they love this location but they can't afford to live here any longer. That and their friendships, the connections that they have with others, everyone has moved away, so their friends have all moved away, and because no one can afford to live here. But that being said, with the contrast, with the pressure, comes growth. And this is what they see as being good for Earth right now at this time. Okay. Hi. All right. Does anybody have any other questions? Otherwise, I'm going to channel some last few words from my guardian, or sorry, I always want to say Agnes. Adrian. Sorry, Adrian. So I'll channel some last few words from him and see if anybody else has any questions. He wants us to remember that through contrast comes growth. When things are complacent and the energy isn't, if there's no movement of energy, then there's more stagnancy, and that's not what is needed at this time on Earth. We've done that quite a bit already, and we need to have more movement and shifting and changes take place within ourselves and collectively worldwide. So he wants us to remember that when there is this shift and changes taking place globally, collectively, that it's important to go within and manage your own vibrational frequency. So yes, that doesn't mean you ignore what is transpiring, but just don't focus on it relentlessly and allow it to drop your frequency relentlessly, whether it is the news that you're watching or the people that you're spending time with, or the words that you are hearing from others. Love it. Love it. Thank you very much. Okay, Jacqueline would like to know about a move to Belgium and if that's a good step for her and her sons and her dog. Last question. They want you to feel within your chest if that is relaxed or if there's a hesitancy with tightness and a pullback sensation. Okay? So that will give you the answer. I'll tell you what I'm feeling if you want, Jacqueline, and I'm getting a tightness in my chest and also on the back of my head, and it's like a hesitancy feeling. So I would definitely, if that is what you're getting, I would pay attention to that. If your chest is completely relaxed every single time that you're asking that question, and you're maybe even you feel like your chest is open and you even have like a relaxed stomach, maybe got some butterflies, that would be a sensation of yes, go ahead and move. But I get a pullback sensation with this. Almost like it's a huge undertaking. You know when they show you take a bit too big of a bite for you to chew. So that might be too big for you to chew at this time. That's what I'm getting. Okay? When you know, oh, I can't, this is too much for me, too overwhelming, too much at this time. And I also see kind of, I don't know if family will be there or not, but I see more of you kind of on your own with your sons and maybe not as much support as you would like or that you were expecting. So I don't know if that's something that like you're going there and there's no one there, no family or friends, or maybe you do have some family there, but it won't, I'm not seeing as much support. So I see you on your own 2 feet, biting off more than you can chew. Does that make sense? Leave a message in the comments, Jacqueline, and let me know. That's what I'm getting. All right, you guys. I can't wait to start the Mediumship 102 course. If you'd like to sign up, KristinDaviesMedium.com. Can't wait to see you guys there. Love you. Bye.